I remember one year my mom wrapped gifts and she put the wrong name on every gift. She put my brother's name on my gifts, and she put my name on my sister's gifts, and she put my sister's name on my brother's gifts. So all through the holiday season, we're like shaking our boxes and trying to figure out.
That's
fantastic. And it was so smart. I was really impressed with how witty my mom was. Like, and so she was like, if you see this name on it, because we separate our presents and everybody has all their presents in front of them. And she's like, if this is your gifts, now you guys go stand in front of that name because those are your real gifts. And I was so mad. But now as an adult, I was like, that is so smart. Right? So I thought that was kind of fun. That's really good. That's a memory that I won't forget.
Welcome to Reframe and Reclaim. We are Courtney Huckabee, a psychotherapist,
and Jen Harris, an interior designer who have teamed up
to reflect,
challenge,
and reframe your mindset in relationship with your personal belongings.
Join us as we discuss and declutter all of the stuff that keeps us stuck.
Learn to intentionally create environments with improved function and design that cultivate peace of mind. Find the reframe.
Start your reclaim.
Hi, welcome back to Reframe and Reclaim. I'm Courtney Huckabee.
And I'm Jen Harris.
And we're here today to talk about the holidays.
We're in the forest of trees here in the video.
And we're here to talk about how fun the holidays can be and how you can create nostalgia for yourself, but also talking about nostalgia from our own childhood, and what brings that nostalgia back in the holiday times for us.
Yes. So one of the things, if you can see, if you're on the video, I'm wearing a shirt that says, I triple dog dare you. And it's from A Christmas Story, and it's where one of the boys has his tongue stuck to the pole out in the cold. So that is a movie that we watched every year religiously at Christmas. It was my dad's favorite Christmas movie, and so we try and keep that, memory alive and that tradition alive, and still watch that movie. What about you, Courtney?
I definitely remember The Christmas Story. Watched it all of the time growing up. If you're a millennial like we are, like it was like the show where you learned about bullies and triple dog dares
and bullets can put your eye out.
I know. And then finding out about some of the beautiful things that create nostalgia for our parents and things that are different and interesting and the family dynamics. But I love nostalgia, creating traditions. I had a lot of traditions growing up. We always made sugar cookies, and we'd put on Christmas music, and we would create sugar cookies with the cookie cutters, and we'd have like the gel piping and the sugar piping, and we just like create hundreds and hundreds of cookies, and then we just eat them all. And I actually don't love sugar cookies, but probably because I ate like thousands growing up. Right. But it was such a fun memory, and I think it's really fun for me to think back on that. Yeah. So, did you know, just talking about memories, you're talking about a movie that brings up a lot of nostalgia for you. I'm talking about baking cookies. That brings up a lot of nostalgia for me. And a lot of times in the time of holidays, we really get wrapped up with finding the perfect gift for our loved ones, finding the perfect gift for our partner or our child or our parents. And there's some interesting research that was done. I don't know how official it is, but there was a Groupon survey done.
Loved a Groupon.
That brings nostalgia back for me. I mean,
there's a single living together.
Whenever you're in your young 20s and you're like wanting to like do life, but really don't have a lot of money because you're young and a young professional, just trying to pay your bills, you do Groupon.
Laser hair removal, Groupon. Dinner out, Groupon.
Pots and pans, Groupon.
Hot yoga, Groupon.
Yes, so many great things that you could do with Groupon. But Groupon did a survey, 2018, a little while back. But in that survey of 2,000 people, they actually found out that almost half of all gifts given, 53%, a little more than half, sorry, are actually forgotten within the year.
I could believe that.
So I'm curious if you remember any of the gifts that you received last Christmas.
Last Christmas?
Like last year, within the last year, we're getting close to the Christmas time. Right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking,
I got a pair of shoes. That's the one thing I remember because I wore them every day. What about you? What do you remember?
I'm thinking.
I know.
Seriously, and I know I got gifts.
Yeah, me too.
So maybe this is a little more accurate and relevant, right? And so when you think of nostalgia, we really get wrapped up in what can we give our loved one.
Mm-hmm.
And really, we want to talk about, like, what are the things that you do that just make the holidays fun? And if you're an adult and have children like we do, like, what are some of the things you do now with your children to create memories, rituals, traditions during the holidays?
Well, whenever the kids were really little, we would put them in the wagon on Christmas Eve and go walk around the neighborhood to go look at lights.
So sweet.
And like if once the wagon had like a canopy, so I strung up like some fairy lights and little Christmas lights, and we'd walk around. Now we do that in a vehicle and go around looking at Christmas lights. And I actually got this idea from a friend of mine who grew up in Florida. And so at Christmas time, her and her family, one of her traditions was to put on all the windows, blast the AC, and go around with hot cocoa to look at Christmas lights.
To make it cool.
To try to make it feel like wintertime. So we're going to try and do something like that if it's hot out, or just roll all the windows down and try and get it a little brisk and a little cool.
So Christmas lights and cocoa?
Christmas lights and cocoa.
I love that.
Or cider,
Yeah, any hot drink.
Yes.
I love that.
What about you?
Well, for me, I have a young son, and so our traditions have really been around creating decorations in the home. And so every day after Thanksgiving, we decorate the house. We put up our Christmas tree, we put up the garland, we put up all the ornaments, and we put on all Christmas music. So we turn on Christmas music, Turkey Day is over, and the Christmas season has begun. And this year my son was so sweet. He's like, let's put on our Christmas pajamas because it's Christmas time. And so our Christmas pajamas from years past, we put on, and we just like decorated. It was so great.
Nice. Yeah, we used to also do, but it got a little too much work for me the last couple of years. But I have a bin of books. So every season, whether it's Halloween or fall or Christmas, a bin of those holiday books. And that way it's new and fresh every season. I have its own storage space for it. But what I used to do is I would wrap each gift in the green wrapping paper and make it like a tree. So it's like this Advent tree. I'd stack the books on top of each other. And then each day they'd open a new book. So that way it was still like new and exciting and getting to unwrap something. So we kind of did an Advent calendar that way as too. I know some people do that as gifts every year, but we have enough books, like I don't need 25 new books. So we would just rewrap the ones we already had. And maybe there's one or two new books, but...
And I love that because it's like the holiday season, it's books they've read before, but you only read them one time of year during the holiday month. So it's like, oh, I remember this book.
Yes.
And I love reading this book, and I got to open something. That's really unique.
And they're always like, oh, I forgot about this. Or, oh, I remember reading this book. So that's fun to do every year.
I have an Advent calendar with my son too, and it's a little felt board Advent calendar, and it has all the days in December, but there's little kind of like felt kind of things that you take out of the pouch of the calendar day, and you put it onto the picture, and it creates like the manger scene for Christmas. So there's a little bit of a scripture for each day, and there's a little like picture or like toy, a felt thing, that a figure that you take out, and then at the end you kind of have the whole manger scene. And my son loves that, and it's kind of fun to talk about the religious part of how we celebrate Christmas.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun.
And it's interesting what you say about, making me reflect back on what I got even just last year. It's like, oh, I barely remember. And then like even Christmases past, I don't really remember. And, and that speaks to the experiences, and how those sit with me more. Like even the gifts I remember it because of the experience of it. So like... Yeah. My brother gifted me, because I had a pet mouse, and so he was getting me another pet mouse, so I'd have niece, right? Or mice.
Niece. Niece.
Pet niece. Anyways, so he had gotten it, and I had already like gone to bed, and so he put it out in the like under the tree while I was in my room, but he did not WD-40 the hamster wheel or the no spin wheel. So all night long, the entire house heard, and this mouse never got tired. Like it was running all night long. So it's like that's what I remember was because like nobody slept.
Hilarious. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really glad that the mouse, I hope, was a gift you appreciated.
Yes, it was
and
a
you were
welcome.
really happy about it.
Yes.
But in that same Groupon survey, did you know that each person typically receives about 3 gifts a year that they're like, thanks.
Wow.
Like, and so if you think about that, how many gifts have I given that I'm trying my best to give a gift that
Right.
somebody's going to love or they're going to really appreciate, and they're just like, I have to hold this and keep this and pretend
Right.
like I want this. How much money could I save?
Right? I'm just thinking, so that's over 125 items just for myself that I may not have needed or wanted or
Or appreciated.
Or appreciated.
Right. But I like the idea of like an experience.
Yes.
And I will say, when I was in college, I remember when my father was alive, I was going through my midterms in October, and he was like, hey, you know, what's going on? What do you want for Christmas? And I was like, can I just have a plane ticket to come see you? Because he lived in another state.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like all I wanted was just like time away from college, time away from the grind and the hustle, and just go and spend time with my family. And I loved that experience. And so that's one experience I can think of. Do you have any like experiences you've gifted or that you've received that are memorable, that create nostalgia for you?
Well, I remember a trip, but I'm trying to remember if it was Thanksgiving or Christmas. I can't remember. It would have been Christmas because my sister was just born early December, and my dad and I found a really cheap plane ticket for Christmas Day, and you fly up Christmas morning and come back Christmas night. And we flew out to Delaware to see my aunt, to see his sister. And so just the 3 of us went, and we got there, and then we went to the airport that night. Like, we didn't pack anything because we were coming back that day,
Gosh,
right?
That's so cool.
And we got there, and the guy was actually really kind, and he was able to switch our flight to the next day. So we got to stay overnight and then fly back the day after Christmas. Yeah.
That's really neat. I love that.
And then she was, you know, it was up in the Northeast, and so it was cold. So she had like a hot tub. So we're like, yeah, and it's snowing in the hot tub, and got the whole like winter experience. So
That's fun.
yeah.
That's really fun. Yeah, this year we're me and my husband have decided that we are foregoing Christmas presents for each other because honestly, I know when he's buying me something, I just
Yeah.
have to look on the credit card and I'm like, oh, what did you buy at the store? What is this? But honestly, like, we love traveling, and we have family that live overseas, and we're actually going to spend some time after Christmas with them, and I'm really like hopeful that will be like, again, like that memory I have of like me just like spending a little bit of time with my dad in between like the hustle and bustle of life,
Yeah.
like just having some time with family, and I'm excited for that too. But whenever I think about like my childhood and like the memories of Christmas, it really was like every year it was something a little different. Like, I remember one year my mom wrapped gifts, and she put the wrong name on every gift. She put my brother's name on my gifts, and she put my name on my sister's gifts, and she put my sister's name on my brother's gifts. So all through the holiday season, we're like shaking our boxes and trying to figure out.
That's
And
fantastic.
it was so smart. I was really impressed with how witty my mom
right?
was. Like,
I'm gonna
and
try
so
that.
she was like, if you see this name on it, because, you know, we separate our presents, and everybody has all their presents in front of them. And she's like, if this is your gifts, now you guys go stand in front of that name, because those are your real gifts. And I was so mad. But now as an adult, I was like, that is so smart.
Right?
So I thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's a memory that I won't forget.
I like that. Yeah, we would always in Christmas story tradition as well. We would race each other to bed to see who could get there first. And my brother would push each other and run down the hallway. And then we would get up at like 4 a.m., 3:30 a.m.
Oh, yes.
Super early to unwrap presents. My poor parents. And then, eventually they would go back to bed and we stay up playing. But like my kids sleep in till like 8 o'clock and I'm like, who are these kids? Like, maybe I was just way more excited. Maybe that means they have too much stuff already. And so they're just like, oh, it's just more presents.
Well, and I remember going to sleep and there was like nothing in the living room, but like, just the nothing. There were gifts in the living room under the Christmas tree, but when we woke up the next day, there was like bicycles and doll houses, and I'm like, wow, like it really created a lot of magic that like I had no clue that these toys or gifts were going to be given. And I will say I was definitely spoiled growing up, and I'm very thankful, Mom and Dad. But I'm also very aware of like how much I really appreciated or took care of or used or played with a lot of the things that were gifted to me. And so I'm very aware of that whenever I have my son now because, he has a lot of wonderful things and we're able to provide that for him, but we also don't want him to just feel like if I wanted to get it, and so we're trying to create a little bit of that balance of appreciation, but also being able to have things that he enjoys.
Yes. Another fun, I'll end on this note on nostalgia. So one of the things my husband and I started doing, we were dating at the time, but we wanted to throw like a big Christmas party, right, for our friends. Because we don't do presents for our friends. But we wanted to have a big get together. This is 2012. And we called it the end of the world party.
The best party.
Because it was the Mayans' calendar had ended and they had predicted, world's going down, right?
And we're going to party.
So we're going to party.
I was at that party.
We're going to have a good time. And and so you come in, you get a ticket. And throughout the night, we pull ticket numbers. And then there's random presents all, put out. And once your ticket's called, you get to go pick a prize. And there's some random gift in there. There's everything from, like your religious beliefs save you to a pocket knife that didn't save you. Or, we always have like some small alcoholic bottles with like a pregnancy test or, something just silly and funny and random. And usually it's a guy that grabs the pregnancy test, which is pretty good. But so it tells you whether or not you survived or not and how or why. And so that's become a really fun tradition that we do. We don't always do it in December because it just gets too crazy with the holidays. But that's kind of like our Christmas for our friends for the years. We just have a big get together.
So we're doing it again
this
year?
Yes. We did have to stop for a couple years because of the true pandemic, but it's back on.
We're back on. Let's do it. Yeah, and I will say the end of the world parties that started back in 2012, like, I remember those events.
Yeah.
And our friends still talk about those events. And I think that is a new way to do tradition. And you created a very fun way to take something that was really scary and 2012 when we're like the Mayan calendar ends and so the world's ending. Let's party and hope that we survive.
Let's all be together.
Let's all be together with people we love. But also like it's a fun experience where I don't feel like I have to like show up or buy a certain thing. And then even the gifts that we got, it was like supposed to be something silly and fun. So and a few dollars for those things.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of like every year doing that and I think like with nostalgia, you don't have to spend a lot of money. You can get some flour and confectioner sugar and make thousands and thousands of little homemade sugar cookies. What we do as well is we every year my husband mandates, not at all, he goes along with and tolerates Christmas pajamas. We all have matching Christmas pajamas. And so I at least try to like run it by him. Like, would you wear this for like one day for Christmas? So it's usually been like a masculine color or a plaid. But that's something fun. Like my son is like, "What are we getting this year for Christmas pajamas?" And so
Aw.
I'm really thankful. Thank you, husband, for going along with my nostalgia and creating memories for
Right.
our son. But we really hope that you can talk with your friends and family. Think about the things that you remember and love about the
Yes.
holidays, because the holidays are a mixed bag, honestly.
Mhm.
But hopefully you have some good memories to look back on. And, you know, as you're creating new traditions and nostalgia for yourself, find new ways to do that, whether it's an end of the year party or maybe it's cocoa and some Christmas lights.
Yeah. Or sugar cookies or ornament exchanges
Ornament
or
exchanges, yeah.
yeah.
Those are all fun.
white elephant parties, you know, all the fun things.
Yeah. So we're just encouraging to reframe and reclaim your Christmas experiences, your holiday experiences, and how you spend the holidays. You know, it doesn't have to be about stress and rushing and getting just the right thing. It can just be about spending time with people and making that quality time.
Yeah, and I think even share those statistics, you know, where it's like, I'm not going to remember this present, and, you know, 3 of these things I'm going to get, I'm probably not even going to need or want. So, how can we reframe that and use that money to create an experience for everybody or, you know, do a new tradition? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good luck, happy holidays, and we hope that you'll follow, like, and share our information, and hope you're having a holiday season that is filled with lots of love and cheer.
Yes.